Greetings, my name's Dwayne, and I was asked how to make the hat on my little forest gnome. And it's a very simple, just going with my basic hat and doing some folding to it. So I want to just take a few minutes to show you how to do that. It's just making your basic gnome hat, which again, can go with your felt body, your styrofoam body, your sock bodies, however you're making your bodies, the pool noodles, same type of thing where you're just going to be making a simple hat, and then we're going to be putting some folds into it. I'll show you, give you the measurements here, give you the sizes. This was actually done out of a larger one, and it just comes right apart here. So I'm going to give you some measurements, show you how I put them together, just real simple here. If you've seen any of my other just hat ones, you'll know that I go with a simple pattern of just using the same thing I do for my coat, where I'm using a 4.5 inch base. Now I like to have, in order to do this type of hat, something that's going to be about 11 to 12 inches long, because I'm going to be folding it in here. And there's a couple different ways to fold, so I'll show you how to do that. So I'm just going to take, it's best I found to either use felt or to use the fleece. The fleece is nice because you have all these different colors you can choose from and everything. But the felt, you can just stick with simple felt, and that's what I did with a couple of them here. Some fabrics you can use too. They're not as good with the cotton fabrics. You can use designs, but that doesn't really hold together as well. Here I've used more of a stiffer pattern, stiffer material for it and everything, and that's worked out well to put together. So I'm going to show you how to do that. But if I'm going with just my basic felt square, again, I like to show what people have and everything. I'm going to fold that in half lengthwise because it's 9 by 12. That's going to give me my 4.5 inches across there, and still going to give me, by the time I go up an inch here, 11 inches to go up to the top there, because you're going to need the extra there to fold in. So simply all I'm doing is cutting that out, getting it to my inch there so I have my curve there. Again, I do that so when I do my hat, it sits up straight. And then just going all the way up to the top. And the top doesn't have to come right to a point. I like to round mine a little bit. And again, this is something that you can easily put together by sewing. If you have a sewing machine, just running a seam up the side there, or I hand stitch all mine and then turn them inside out. So for here, I'm just going to show you by using the hot glue gun too. It's just running the glue down the side, about 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 inch in. Just like with my patterns, with almost anything, I like to make sure people can do however they're making their gnomes. If you're doing it with hot glue, you can make it with hot glue. If you're doing it if you're sewing, easy way, do any of them. Just press it down. Get my glue stuck there a little bit. And let that dry. So here I have, again, about 4.5 inches across the bottom. And then I'm going 11 to 12 inches up. So I have some height there. I'm going to let that dry for a moment. Let me grab one here that I actually sewed together here to show you. So I'm going to turn that inside out. And as I turn it inside out, when I get to the top, I'm actually just leaving some of it in there. I don't have it come to a point. I like to have more of a rounded top to it. And so that's easily how I get the top part there. And here you can almost see, without me turning it all the way inside out, I've already got some of the shape going there. For this guy here, I actually folded the top here for 1 inch, well, the very bottom here, made that 1 inch on there. And I'm putting my seam in the back. And then what I do is I go up 1 inch. And this is the tricky part. This is the part you have to work on a little bit. Some people say I make things look easy. Well, this is not, it hasn't been too easy for me to figure out and do, but I'm pushing that back down. So I'm pushing it in, so I go in. Hard to see there, but I'm pushing it down about a 1/2 inch. A 1/2 inch fold on there. And just as simple as that, I'm making a fold. And you could do that repeatedly, but usually when I'm doing something that's about 11 to 12 inches, I'm going to get one fold in there. And I like the character too, because this is where I can put things in the fold. I can put feathers, I've put leaves in there, different designs for the holidays. You can put little candy canes in those folds. And then what I do is I straighten it out on the back here, and I'll put just a little dab of glue in these seams here. Now the other way to do this, so I don't have the seam showing as much on the back here, is instead of rolling this up in front, I do the same thing I would do on the other there. I make it about 1 inch and I tuck. And just tuck that down. Like I said, don't go all the way, don't go another inch down, go about 1/2 inch, because you want to have room so it'll fit on your body. And I just tuck that around. So now this part is the bottom of my hat that's going to go down where the nose is. And then again, I'm going to go up 1 inch and just tuck about a 1/2 inch in. That's going to give me a nice spiral hat. And like I said, this will fit on your basic gnome patterns. If you're using a sock, if you're using the pool noodle, if you're using just the felt body, that's going to cover on there. What I do too is I'll put a little bit of stuffing up inside here now, so I have more of a solid hat in there. And as I said, once I get it in position, how I like it, I'll put a little dab of glue right there where the seam is, where it folds. And that way it holds the fold for me. And I'll do that on each of them that I do. Then I also found when I'm putting in something, like when I put the feathers on this guy here, I'm able to glue the feathers down and glue that onto there too. So that gives another sort of place to tack on and hold that seam. I brought out the other ones because I wanted to show you. This one here I actually did on fleece, and I did 16 inches in height. So I did my base still, the 4.5 inches, but then when I cut up, I went 16 inches up. And the reason I did that was because I wanted to have more folds into it. So again, I'm starting at the very bottom and I'm folding in about a 1/2 inch. So I'm not coming all the way down because I want to still have room for when I'm putting that body on there. So I got my 1/2 inch there. And what I can do now is just as I'm going along, I can glue that just to make sure I'm not coming undone. And then do another one. Now here's where you can get some variety going too, because I like the woodland looks and everything. So I might tilt a little. I might just tilt down and tilt this up, bend this up a little bit. So I'm not getting as high of a part here, but I'm getting it higher over here. And what that's going to do is sort of tilt my hat to the side if I keep going up like that and make it narrower on one side and wider on the other. So again, another way just to throw a little bit more character in there, but what you got to do is experiment with tucking a little bit. So I tucked down about a 1/2 inch. Again, probably should have glued that before I did that. But this will give me, I can get 4 or 5 different folds in here before I glue it. Like with the woodland one there, this is the type of thing I want to experiment with too and get more of like a Robin Hood look to it too. But it is fun to try out with the different fleeces. Like I said, I recommend the felt, the fleece, and it's just a matter of folding it over, starting with your basic, and that's all I try to tell people is just go with your basic, make your basic hat, and then start from there. Just either roll up the rim there and then roll, or just do a tuck on the inside and glue the back. So once again, if you're going with a simple hat, make it about 4.5 inches across by about 11 inches up, and you should be able to put a couple folds into it. If you want a longer hat, do like 16 inches like I've done there before, and then play with it. Add some character to it, add some little embellishments in there, and have some fun with it. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope that gives you a little bit more creativity when you're making your gnomes, and look forward to seeing the creative things that you do. Thank you.